What's up guys, Justin Morgan here, Carved Up Vegan Muscle, and I'm going to try to get through this video as quickly as possible and share the most amount of information that I can in the time that I have. So I am covering the topic today of how to squat every day, or how to train the lifts on a daily basis. Now this is largely based off several different resources on how to implement Bulgarian style training to powerlifting, and there have been some people that did that very well and were very successful in it. And it is primarily, originally, a weightlifting template from Bulgaria, as you might expect. The Bulgarian weightlifting team was an incredible team. Coach Abizov had some, lifters that went very, very far, and they took note of, or the world took note when a country the size of New York started to take gold medals home at the Olympics. So, in an effort to do that, I am kind of sharing just some of the compilation of information that I have gotten from resources like Coach John Brose, an American coach. In fact, I think all of these resources are American. Coach John Brose, Matthew Perryman, who wrote Squat Every Day, Greg Knuckles, who put out an ebook along with Omar Isaf called The Bulgarian Method, a training manual for implementing that style of training. Izzy Navarez from Powerlifting to Win, powerliftingtowin.com. It's also a YouTube channel. Did an incredible review on the program where he discussed how he would try to implement it for powerlifting. I thought he did an incredible job on it. So there are a variety of different resources that you can look at, or that I have looked at, that I'm using to draw off this information. Damian Pizzuti is another one. He kind of has given a lot of different resources on how he chose to implement this style of training that took him up to winning world records in powerlifting within his weight classes. I think he competes at both 181 and 198. You'll hear me reference each of those throughout this video, and I'm going to try to get through it quickly. First of all, in each of the programs, the commonalities are that you squat, bench press, or whatever. We're going to focus on powerlifting. I actually have been using it for training strongman, but I have strongman in mind anyways. I still do mostly barbell work. So I rely heavily on push press as opposed to the bench pressing that some of these guys recommend, but I'm not going to go into that because it's too much information to share here. So you squat up to, or bench press up to, either one, a training max. And in doing that, you kind of go something that is at like an RPE, rate of perceived exertion, on a scale of 1 to 10. We're only going to go up to an 8 or a 9. You really do not want to exceed that 9 RPE. And the way that I like that Greg Knuckles did it in the Bulgarian training method is that he said that you would set weekly minimums. So if you are bench pressing, you are going to go up to say maybe you're at an RPE of 8 or so, 7 or 8, well, probably 8, and that's kind of where you go up to, and you see how you feel that day. If that is really light, or whatever weight's previously been an RPE of 8 is really light, then you might feel really saucy and feel like you want to go up to something, a new PR. Damian Pizzuti in his writings recommended that you not really do any back off work if you hit a new PR that day. So after you hit your training max, all of the programs recommend doing back off work. You could do anywhere from removing 10%, so say you hit 100 pounds, you're going to take 10% off, that's 10 pounds, so you go down to 90 pounds and you'll do that. Ideally, you've probably been training for longer than a few years and your numbers are much higher than 100 pounds, but math works out well for that, so you get the idea. Damian Pizzuti, when he gave examples of back off work, had people going to a variety of different rep ranges, which I like, I prefer. I think it has more carryover for me personally, being that I compete strongman, and it's rare that you do 1 rep maxes on anything in strongman. So you do like 90% for 1, which is what was discussed, 85% for 3, and this is 85% of the number that you hit that day, so it's going to be a range depending on how you felt that day. 70 to 75% for sets of 5 to 8, 60 to 65% for sets of 8 to 10. And that would be your back off work for that day. And doing assistance exercises, if you're doing this style of training, generally everyone recommends that you be somewhat, as Greg Knuckles would say, vanilla in how you choose to implement them. So if you're pretty much just going to squat and bench press if you're doing it for powerlifting, and then occasionally you will throw in some deadlifts. I'll give a couple of different examples of how that's been implemented. But for the squat, you're pretty much going to do squats, pause squats, front squats, and that's about it. Not a whole lot more than that. For bench presses, you're going to do regular bench presses, close grip bench presses, floor presses, and that's about it. As I said before, I do a lot of push pressing, which I think has more carryover to strongman. Now, in terms of the deadlift, I like several of the different resources have recommended doing one light speed day, so you do maybe 80% of your 1 rep max, or maybe 70%, anywhere in that range. That's a 10% range, so it's not a small range, but you do something where the bar is not going to be slowed down at all. You are training the motion, training the neural efficiency, and training speed in it. Now, it's not like West Side Barbell type speed work where you're pulling like less than 50%, but it's still something that you're going to move the bar pretty quickly with when you are coming up and doing the deadlift. You are training the motion more than you are the muscles, or say, which is a good way to look at this entire program in general, that you are training the motion. Now, you obviously have to get hypertrophy or muscle growth in order for the program to work. All programs that you could follow that will lead you to a successful career in weightlifting or powerlifting must incorporate hypertrophy, because a bigger muscle has the potential to be a stronger muscle. And then, on Friday, the way that Damian Pizzuti did it, he worked out Monday through Friday. He only deadlifted on Friday. He deadlifted to something that was in that kind of 9 RPE on that day, and that was it. He took the weekend off. In Izzy Navarez and some of the stuff I've seen from John Burroughs, you might do that midweek speed work, and then on maybe Saturday you'll work up to something that's a little bit heavier. Izzy Navarez has you taking Sunday off. John Burroughs, I don't think he really ever has anybody taking days off, so that's something to note. But I think that many of those agree that this is something you work up to. You don't just suddenly throw in 5, 6, 7 days of squatting in the week out of nowhere. That would be pretty difficult on your body. So looking through several different notes here. There is a peaking plan from John Burroughs on how to incorporate this style of training. I could throw that up. It is from Izzy Navarez's site. He actually has a YouTube video that I'll attach in the description box below where he discusses it. I'm trying to think. If you guys have any questions that you would like covered in it, I could try to get back with you on that. I just wanted to kind of throw something out since I've mentioned this style of training, and if people are going to do it, I think that they might use this as some kind of information to incorporate some of those principles into your training. I don't really have anything else to say on it at the moment that I can think of off the top of my head. You guys take it easy. Remember to like, share, and if you haven't done so already, hit that red subscribe button down there, and I will talk to you in the next video. Look for links to all of the resources mentioned in the description box below.